Okay, guys, good morning. And if you could mute yourself, please, that would be great. So I'm going to begin with the typical dimensioning. That'll only take a couple minutes here. And then I'll show you the new one, all right? So going to my dimension layer. And we'll just get going with this as you see it. The first thing I want to do is offset the construction lines that I created so that I can have my dimension placement ready to go. So enter 0.25, and as always, just offset these construction lines quite a bit, several times, all over the place. I still have the offsets that I used up there. So those were to help you create the offsets, but those are not the actual dimensions, of course. So don't confuse that, please. So here we go. I'll start in the top view. And again, I try to be true to the drawings dimensions, and there are times when you just got to do something different. So you may see that some of these aren't quite the same as were shown in the original drawing, but I try to. And again, those offset ones, I'm just going to leave them there, but obviously you would not. This little 1/4 inch one in the bottom here, this is a fun thing. So look, if I go from bottom to top, see what happens there. Look how it places the dimension, and that's not where I want it. If I go from top to bottom when I place that, check this out, from click downward, it does it underneath. So that's kind of interesting. The direction with which you click when you're assigning the extension line points affects where AutoCAD places the dimension. So if it's putting it someplace you don't like, it might be all you have to do is click in the reverse direction. Again, if I clicked upward, it would place it there, which is now on the object, and we don't want that. And if you tried to move it, you can drop it down and put it underneath, but I guess that is another way to do it. So you can click in the opposite direction, or you can grab hold of the actual dimension and drag it down underneath. I think that guy was a little off there. See what's going on here. Sometimes you got to zoom in and make sure you're grabbing the right line. And you can see what happened here was that my object line is what's off. So I'm going to have to move that over. No problem. There we go. If you're not getting the right numbers on your dimensions, don't leave it. Which is what just happened to me. Fix it. Figure out what is wrong and fix the mistake. example, if I'm grabbing the dimension, I'm dragging it out. There it is. All right. Well, I think we've got all the dimensions, the standard dimensions. There's just the one that we're waiting to do here. And that's really what this video is all about. This, or this lesson, I should say, I'm going to post it as a video. And that's this dimension right here, this limits tolerance dimension. That's what we got to place. I'm going to turn off my construction line so you can really see what I'm talking about. Very well. This one right here, that's the guy. So how do you create that? The first thing I'm going to do is go to my dimension style, and you can type dim style at the command prompt. Just type it out, or you can also get to this menu by clicking on annotation and then the dimension style right there, saying manage dimension styles, and then you get to the same menu. So you can see that I've already done a couple examples of this. I will do another one. You say new. You click, you're going to make a new style. And it should say copy of the one you've been using, which is good. And now if you want to rename that, and I would name it limit tolerance or just limits, which is what I'll do now. And then you can hit continue. And so as it stands right now, it is a perfect copy of the one we've been using. And that's good because we want it to be almost the same. We just want to make one little change. We want to go over to the tolerances tab right here, the last tab. And we want to go to the tolerance method here, and we want to say limits. The upper value, we don't want to do anything to. So if you offset that feature correctly, you offset it as 0.725, and so that will be the upper value. But the lower value is going to change. We want it to be 1/1000th less. We want it to be 0.724. In order to do that, we need to change this value to 0.001. So that will subtract 0.001 from whatever you actually drew it at. All right, and then lastly, zero suppression. We do want zero suppression on for leading. So on the tolerances tab, 3 things you got to do. You got to go to method and change it to limits. You got to go to lower value and change it to 0.001. And then you have to go to zero suppression and check leading. And once you do that, you hit OK and close. And now you want to make sure you are in that dimension style. And it should say, when you click here, that you are. And I can see that I am. I'm in my new dimension style called limits. And then I'll go to dimension. And I will dimension from that point to perpendicular. So it's not straight up, it's to perpendicular. All right. And turn your ortho off, by the way. Turn your ortho off so that it comes out at an angle, make it perpendicular, and there you go. You can pull it off a little bit, and that's exactly what you want right there. I'm going to zoom in on that. So a mistake that you might make is you might do this. You might click from this point straight up to that point, and that is not the value we are after. We're not after the distance from here to there straight up. We are after the perpendicular distance. So when you click on this, I'll do it one more time. You're going to click on the bottom, and then you'll go up in a perpendicular fashion, and you will see the perpendicular snap. There it is. It will say perpendicular. And then you click, and you drag it off. One last thing I want you to do, a little pro tip here. See how the extension line is crossing the object line here? That's not good. And you might think, oh, well, I can just click on the extension line and drag that point out. But if you do that, you have the wrong value. That's not what we want. So what you need to do is to actually trim off this extension line, but the trim command won't do it. There is a special command just for breaking dimension extension lines. It's a pretty specialized command. It's not up on any of these toolbars on top. You actually have to type it out. So here it is, your pro tip for the day. The command is dim break. So at the command prompt, you will type D-I-M-B-R-E-A-K, dim break. And then all you do is click the dimension you want to break. So just click on it and hit enter. And there it is. Isn't that cool? And you can use that for anything, any dimension that you make in the future. And we will use it in the future. So keep that one under your hat.